Welcome
Well,
to Let's Talk.
thank
How are you?
you. I'm very well, thank you. It's good to meet you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's good to have you. Monica West is Director of Community Engagement at Washington Gas. And I was telling Shevry, Monica, the other day that we have, I really wish we had pulled it up, but we have ads from the 1960s when the paper first
Oh, wow.
started with Washington Gas Light Company.
Oh, wow. I would love to see that. Please share. I'm sure we have copies of it somewhere, but we've been around 176 years now. So,
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
so it's I mean the your company's always been committed to the community that you serve, to the residents that you serve. And I want to say that has not changed from what we know. And
yes.
we're so glad that you're here with us. So
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about your role at Washington Gas.
So, I have been with Washington Gas about almost 6 years now. And so, but I come from a space of community engagement and community affairs. I worked very early in my career for C-SPAN, a television. Of course, everybody knows C-SPAN, particularly of late. So I started there. Then I moved into radio, worked for someone a name you probably would know, Alma Arrington Brown, who is now gone on to the ancestors, but she and I worked in radio. She was a big mentor for me. And then after that, went to banking, local government, and now I'm in the energy space. And so I've always worked in this role of connecting residents and customers to information, keeping them aware. It's personally important to me because I am a native of the Washington area, and so it's important that the people that I live in and work with and family members are aware of what's happening in our city.
Well, as a native Washingtonian, I'm gonna tell you that makes a big difference when there's someone who's from the area, understands the community, and is has the passion to serve the community. But going back to that, um, how, in your position, do you, I guess, assess what the community needs and wants from Washington Gas?
Right. So we've been really intentional, right? And so being around so long, you've learned from things and you've seen the times change, right? So we like to identify and prioritize the needs of different communities. We have focus groups. We meet with various nonprofits. We also have in the district specifically, we have a community advisory board, and these are members that are made up of various wards in the district. And they meet quarterly, and they come in and they kind of tell us what they're hearing on the ground. We also hear from our crews and our staff. Remember, we're here. We're local. We're local here. So our crews and our employees also work here in the city. So we try to prioritize based on what we're hearing. And of course, reading the tea leaves and the climate of whatever the current issues. As the informer, we have seen times change. So we feel like back, but I think actively listening and to our community members helps us tailor programs and services to address their specific needs.
I think it's interesting that you have a community advisory board. Tell us a little bit about that and how you select folks to serve.
Right. So the board was around long before I came on into the company, but they serve 3-year terms and they rotate off. And so we have members such as Ron Moten in Ward 8. He's on our community engagement board. We have Pierpont Mobley, who's in Ward 5, who's active and is kind of a walking history, a person of history just in itself. We've got Michael Chambers, who's in Ward 5, who is very active in the energy space, as well as doing like community social justice around energy and that sort of thing. So they're members who live in various wards of the city, and they are nominated from various ways. Their names are nominated, and we get them from different stakeholders out in the community who suggest that we reach out to them and see if they'll be interested in the board. So it's a very engaging board. They do keep us active, and they will tell us very quickly what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong.
Give me an example, Monica, if you don't mind. I mean, if there's something that you may hear from the advisory board that you all have, you know, found important to respond to.
Yeah, absolutely. Just something very basic that came out of a focus group that was held in Ward 5 was right before we were about to start work. And this is just a simple example, but something that was not so simple for us. We send out construction notices, right? So if we're about to come into your neighborhood, well, 14 days before, we'll start mailing out notices and that sort of thing. And so out of a focus group, the suggestion was made, well, why don't you put them in fluorescent envelopes and put them on people's doors? Because a lot of people, don't read mail that comes from us anymore. People get electronic notices, right? And not everybody opts in to receive emails from Washington Gas. And if you're not a customer of ours, you wouldn't know. We wouldn't have your email address to know to reach out to you. So why don't we just go old fashioned and go to people's doors and stick them in, right? And so that came out of a community meeting, and that is now going to be implemented. And that's just something that, of course, seems very simple, but when you operate in kind of a machine, right? And so this is what we do. This is process a letter, it goes in the mail, and you know the post office will send it to you. But that kind of feedback, I don't think would have happened internally. We had to get that externally. So I just use that as an example to say that's kind of the feedback that we got as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I mean it's not that you all don't provide information, because
Right.
when we get those monthly bills, there's always a nice little newsletter in there, and
Exactly.
information that maybe like the Informer sometimes just doesn't get read, or
Exactly.
at the time people put it aside and just don't get to the second page or third page of it.
Or they think it's some kind of advertisement, like we're trying to sell them something, right? And so,
Exactly,
so
exactly.
but if
Yeah.
it's put in like a fluorescent envelope that says notice construction in your neighborhood, then people aren't so shocked when our trucks show up on their streets and they feel like they haven't been notified.
We are next month we'll be coming up on Earth Day.
Hmm.
And the community is really interested in environmental issues, although we have an administration that doesn't seem to care much about it. But we're not
Mhm.
talking politics today.
Right, right,
we,
right,
we're not going to do that. But
right.
just how what kind of I guess education does Washington Gas do with communities who need to understand more about gas usage, and uh, reading their bills and things like that. What?
Right. So since as I like to say, since we're back outside, right? So from COVID, right? We have been proactive to try to get out into the community. We attend, like I said, community meetings, ANC meetings. We do a lot of ANC meetings. Just in our Prince George's County territory, we've been doing a lot of town halls. Addressing people's concerns about recent increases to their bills. And we've been doing that with our partners at Pepco. So I was excited to see their anniversary video played during this taping, because we have been partnering with them to go around to our territories and our communities to try to educate our customers, and not just now, but just period, right? So we go to festivals, and if we're invited, we go to a lot of community events. We're doing one next week for ANC in Ward 8. To talk about, again, billing concerns that many residents have seen increases in their bills because we've had an unusually cold winter. So we try to take advantage of all opportunities to reach customers any way we can. We also do have on our website a lot of energy information, because we understand that people get a lot of information now on their cell phones. And so we have a mobile app, and you can go there and get a lot of information as well.
And when you talk about, I mean, I can't think of right now, every major issue seems to be a pocketbook issue. Not that it isn't always. I mean, crime has been up and down, and there are other things. But, pocketbook issues really do seem to be impacting people the most.
Mhm.
And so, but what else? I mean, are there other pressing issues that you find that the local community has raised, that you all
I,
are
I
responding
will,
to?
yeah. If you think, just to go back as an example from something that came out of one of the focus groups we did, probably at the end of last year, it was that a lot of residents, and this is in Maryland and DC because the focus group had a mixture of residents, they were not aware of the climate laws that had been passed in the jurisdiction, right? And so one lady was very clear. She likes to cook with gas, and she wants to keep her gas, but she did not realize that her local legislator was putting forth legislation that would prevent her from having gas after 2035. And so those are the types of things that I think there's so much out there. People have to decipher what's real and what's not, right? And so she was concerned that her choice a choice was being made for her about going all electric when that's not what she wanted to do. So we take these opportunities to visit the community and talk to people one-on-one, not just about billing, but about their choice, right? And so it's not either or, it's not gas or electric, you can have both. And so we really try to educate people on that as well as their usage.
So it's interesting because we did talk a little bit about sustainability and sustainable energy solutions. How will Washington Gas maybe change over the years? And maybe nothing is imminent like next year, but
Right.
are there some things that you think people need to know going forward?
Yeah, I think there's some sustainable energy solutions. I think for us, to your point, safety and reliability is always going to be key for us, right? So if you are a customer and you are receiving natural gas, safe and reliability is definitely one thing. But we also encourage, we have energy efficiency programs. And so we can come out to your home and kind of walk through and provide to you some ways to cut down, do some home energy audits, educational resources, those types of things. And also, again, community engagement, education, and then advocacy. And so we really try to get out there and hone into people that there are various ways that they can cut their energy cost, energy consumption. We can talk to them individually about their own needs. I think that's the blessing of a home energy audit, is that it's every house is different and how their energy usage is done. And so having some home energy audits is definitely helpful to people in cutting their costs.
Yeah, well, the message that I take away from our conversation today is that Washington Gas is available and accessible to those who have questions, want to share, have you all to come out and share information with various constituencies, and that your doors are open.
Absolutely.
What am I missing anything
No,
else before
you
we
got
go?
it. You said it. That is exactly right. Our doors are always open.
Well, Monica, thank you. Thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you for sharing our 60th with us as you all celebrate. Is it 175? What is that?
Actually, now we're 177. I said
Okay,
176 earlier, 177 actually.
okay. I'm looking at that uh, picture behind you, and it said
Oh, yes,
175, and I'm
yes,
like,
yes,
oh,
yes,
that's very
yes,
nice.
yes,
177
yes.
years old. So we were not. You got us out of the dark ages.
Literally, yes. All right.
Dark and cold. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, and
My
we hope that we'll see
pleasure.
you on the 18th, on the 28th, if you can make it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Enjoy your weekend and thanks for your time.
Sure.
Take care.
Thank you, Monica.
All
You
right.
too. All
Bye-bye.
righty. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.